Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships, Season 17, Week 4, Round 2. My name is Boma Fett. I'm currently 9-1. Don't be fooled by this rank. That's just because almost everybody ahead of me has already moved up to Kyber. So I'll be getting Kyber during this match, and then I'll drop down into the thousands. Let's take a look at who my opponent is. Gondemar. Let's go to the hotbot for a quick comparison. So here you can see the hotbot showing a lot of green on my side, only a little bit of red over here on Gondemar's side. But I think this is a closer matchup than it looks at first glance. So let's zoom in and take a closer look. In the GAC stats, you can see that Gondemar actually has pretty good GAC stats. His best score just a little bit below mine. Lifetime banners over 600,000 is very good. Undersized, almost identical to mine. His clears are pretty good, over 100. Defends is okay, 450 is not bad at all. And offensive wins over 1,400 is very good. So Gondemar is a very solid GAC player. In the roster summary, you can see our galactic powers are almost identical. Gondemar's got just a touch more galactic power than I have, but I've got the higher top 80 and higher top 65. I've got the higher character GP. He's got the higher ship GP. I have 21 more Zetas on my characters than Gondemar does, and I have just a touch more speed. It's not really much of an advantage at all. I've got a couple more Gear 13 characters, and I have 10 more Gear 12s. I also have 32 more Gear 11 and above, so I've got a bit more depth to my roster. In the mod analysis, you can see that I have 50% more 6-dot mods, and I also have more mods with high-speed secondaries. In the 20 and above speed, I've got almost 3 times more. I've got about twice as many with 15 speed and above. That's a little surprising given how close our speeds are on the top of our roster. I think there could be 2 things accounting for this. Number 1, I think a lot of his mods are speed sets, and so you get the extra bonus from the speed set rather than from having high-speed secondaries. But what that means is that he's going to be missing out on a lot of those bonuses that you get from having other sets on your characters. The second thing is that I have not been great about remodding my characters, and so, for example, my Phoenix still has really good mods on it from 2-3 years ago when they were my arena squad. And so I probably should move some of those high-speed mods onto other characters and take them off my Phoenix. But because of laziness and for nostalgia's sake, I've kept those mods on my Phoenix, and so not all of my best mods are in my top 80 anymore. In the relic summary, you can see where Gondemar has an advantage. It's right here. The total relic level's 143 to my 110. Part of that is that he has 5 tier 7s to my 1, and part of that is that he takes a lot of his characters up to tier 4. He has only 4 characters at tier 1 to 3. I have 19 characters at tier 1 to 3. In the meta characters, you can see that neither one of us has a galactic legend, but I do have Jedi Knight Luke. He's at gear 12 for me. Gondemar has not unlocked Jedi Knight Luke. The rest of the characters are all relicked up, and you can see he does have very good speed on a lot of these characters. His General Skywalker is very fast, his Darth Revan is almost as fast as mine, his Malak is much faster than mine. His Jedi Revan's not that fast, but overall you can see that he does have some high speeds on key characters. Speaking of key characters, that's the next section on the hotbot, and you can see that our rosters look very similar. Again, he has higher speeds on several of these characters. Our rosters also look very similar here in the important ships. Both of us have 7-star Negotiator and 7-star Malevolence. So after looking at the hotbot, it doesn't look like quite as big a mismatch as all that green made it seem, but let's go back to the game and take a closer look at Gondemar's roster to get a better idea of what this matchup is going to look like. You can see here that Gondemar is using a Relic Gas Squad in the arena and the Malevolence in the Fleet Arena. Here are Gondemar's Relic characters, and by and large you'll notice they are mostly dark side characters. A lot of them are First Order. Looks like Gondemar, just like my last opponent, Gondemar is getting ready to go for SLKR. He does have some light side characters, mostly Galactic Republic. We've got the Gas Squad and a Padme Squad. And then in addition to that, we've got Jedi Knight Revan and Grandmaster Yoda. But on the dark side, we've got all of those First Order characters to go for SLKR. We've got some Geonosians. We've got Darth Revan and Malak. We've got some Separatist droids, and we've got Bosk and Ventress. But because he's reliced up all of those First Order characters, there are a lot of characters that I would normally see at Relic who are down here in Gear 12. So we've got both Bastilas, Darth Vader, General Grievous, Jedi Knight Anakin, Jolee Bindo. So just like my last opponent, compromises have been made in this roster in order to go for the Galactic Legend, but he doesn't have the Galactic Legend yet. So my advice, I said it last time, I'm going to say it again. These relics on people like First Order Stormtrooper, Special Forces TIE Pilot, First Order Officer, Captain Phasma, hold off on putting those relics on those characters until you are absolutely ready to actually go for the Galactic Legend. If you put those relics on before you're ready to go for it, you are inflating your roster and you're going to end up with some bad matchups in GAC. Now before we look at the defenses, I wanted to show you a couple of factions here that are a little bit odd. In the Night Sisters, Old Doc is only Gear 10, Talzin is only Gear 8, Spirit is only Gear 9, so Night Sisters are not going to be great. Rebels are very undergeared. Han Solo is at Gear 10, Chewbacca is at Gear 8. Where is CLS? CLS is Gear 8. And here in the Resistance, Jedi Training Rey, Level 1, Gear 1. The Resistance Heroes, Level 1, Gear 1. Now let's go to the board and check out the defenses. In the top zone, I've put my Newt Squad, my Bosk, my Jedi Knight Luke, and Poggle with Separatist droids. In the bottom zone, I've got Grievous, Savage Malak, and Hux First Order. In the back, I've placed a Scoundrel Squad, Night Sisters, Fin Poe, and my Terrible Karth Squad. I wanted to save my Darth Revan for offense because Gondemar tends to play a very heavy defense, and I wanted that extra offensive squad. In the ship zone, I've placed my Thrawn and my Home 1. I wanted to save both of my Get 2 fleets for offense, just in case. Gondemar has placed a Newt Squad, Night Sisters, Geonosians, and General Grievous. And in the bottom zone, you can see both Revans standing here. We've got Darth Revan, Jedi Revan, and Shock clones. So I'm going to switch over to my phone. We'll see if we can take out these squads and see what's in the back. So once again, I had sound recording issues, and so I'm going to do voiceover after the fact here. So I started on the bottom, and I went after Darth Revan first. It's by far the most difficult squad. I took my General Skywalker with Arc and Echo. That would save me 5s and Rex for another squad. Usually what happens with this matchup is that the clones end up dying and General Skywalker ends up taking out the other squad, so why waste 5s and Rex here? So Arc and Echo along with General Skywalker. So this counter actually has never failed for me before, but it doesn't get me a whole lot of banners. It's usually a 47. So while it's never failed, I also just haven't done it very often. And so it was bound to fail at some point, and this was a really tough Darth Revan, Darth Malak squad, very fast. I went after Bastila, and here on the counterattack I almost killed her, but now Skywalker's down and the clones just crumble. So Skywalker's back up, and here's where I make a mistake. I don't take out Basti, I go after Darth Revan, and that just ended it right there. So I didn't get any of them down. Now I'm kind of stuck. What do I do? Now I did save my Darth Revan for offense. I usually use him on defense, but I've got him for offense. But my Malak is still on defense, so I can't really do Darth Revan and Basti without Malak against this squad. But I can use that squad against the Jedi Revan. I was actually planning on doing a Jedi Revan mirror match, but I can use Jedi Revan against the Darth Revan squad and use Darth Revan against Jedi Revan. So now the only decision I had to make is who to take in as my third, and you can see I took in General Kenobi. Normally I'd like to use Bastila here, but I wanted to use Bastila as a leader for another Jedi squad, and so I took in General Kenobi instead. They were turn meter loaded, so they went first. I decided to take out Bastila, so I marked her. And now, you can't call assists against Revan. That's part of the problem here. I spread the buffs with Yoda. I'm glad I had General Kenobi there because he's been saving Yoda with his taunt. But now I'm stuck behind Malak's taunt. That just procced Savior. Go after Revan next. Pass the turn meter to Yoda. And Yoda's dead. So now I'm really worried. But I was able to take out Darth Revan. And now these two guys, I knew they were not going to be able to take out Malak. So that meant I was going to have to three-shot this squad. I was going to need to bring in a cleanup against Darth Malak. I probably should have just timed out right now. So there goes Kenobi. And there goes Revan. So this is going to be a three-shot. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to use to clean up Malak yet. I had a couple of different options, but I was going to wait to decide on that, and instead I went after Jedi Revan. So here I took in Darth Revan, Bastila, and HK. And this really wasn't that threatening a Jedi Revan squad. There is no Grandmaster Yoda. So really, Revan is the main damage dealer. I went straight after Revan. I really should have gone after Jolee, actually. He was the squishiest. But at this point, I've got Revan low, so I just go after him. And then I'm able to take out Jolee very quickly. Now back after Revan. Get the fear on him again. And he's gone. So this was a fairly easy match. I was not able to recover all my protection, so I ended up with just a 52. Next we've got the Shock clones, and this is Arc and Echo with Shock T. And for this matchup, I decided to take in CLS, 3PO, and Chupio. I wasn't positive that this was going to work, but I thought it probably would work. So very fast ARC trooper there. They get to go first, and they're working on CLS. So I switch forms and recover some protection, and I go straight after Shock T because I want to get rid of the retribution. So she's down pretty quickly. I put the blind. I only got it on Echo. I think I need to put more potency on my Chupio so that he can land that blind more often. But it did save me from the grenade toss. I'm going to roar and do the AoE, and that takes out Echo. And we get down Arc. I was missing a lot of protection there, so 52 banners. Now what to do about Darth Malik? The two squads I was considering were my First Order and my Resistance. I wanted to use the First Order against the Asajj Ventress squad, so I decided to take in my Resistance here. So the reason Resistance works in this matchup is because you can put the healing immunity onto Darth Revan. So just Jedi Training Ray, BB-8, and R2-D2. It helps to have a really high potency R2-D2 so that you can stun Malik and prevent him from getting the drain every time his health drops below a certain level. So I put the wave on him, go for the stun, and get it. And then immediately put the healing immunity on him. He's a really fast Malik, so he comes out of those stuns pretty quickly. But between the stuns and the waves, I'm able to keep him fairly well under control. He did get a drain there on BB-8. But you can see I'm able to land the stun over and over again because I have almost 100% potency on my R2-D2. So I just keep waving and stunning and keep the healing immunity on him. He is going to get a couple of turns during this because my characters do end up with fear on them every now and then after attacking him, but I'm able to keep him under control, so it takes a while. But it does work, it is very effective. So I'll go ahead and fast forward the rest of this. So here comes the finishing blow. 23 banners, only BB-8 was missing any protection, and this is 2 Gear 12s and a Gear 11, and Kyber. So now we get to see what is in the back. And it's a garbage Night Sister squad, 2 Relic First Order squads, and Phoenix. So I go back up to the top zone, and I'm going to go after the General Grievous squad first. Now I don't have my Jedi Revan here, so I take in my Night Sisters. Because this is a Gear 12 Grievous, I wasn't really too worried about this failing. I've got a Relic for Daka, and so she can stay alive. The others will die and revive and die and revive. And as long as Daka stays alive, this is no problem. I went after Droideka first, tried to get the stun, and I really probably should have saved that as a dispel for when he rolls up. Now I'm stuck behind the mark, and I have to go after B2 for a while. Because as long as Grievous is below full health, he marks one of the other 2 droids, and he'll bounce that mark back and forth between them. So there went Spirit, and now Daka is stunned, but even now I'm not that concerned. That was a direct hit against Daka, it didn't do that much damage. This is an opportunity to get some assists from the grave, and every time a Night Sister revives, that's adding max health to Daka. So I brought Spirit back, but it's not going to last long. She's going to go down again, and you can see that Talzin is pretty low here. So again, more assisting from the grave. Stuck attacking Droideka because of the mark. Get a stun on the B2. I decide to heal and bring back the spirit. And Droideka is going down, and there's a direct hit against Daka. It didn't do much damage. B2 goes down, another direct hit against Daka. Again, very little damage done. So we're going to finish off Grievous here. I was not able to get full health on Daka, so we only got a 50, but that's okay. Next up, I'm going to go after the Geonosians with my EP, Vader, and Thrawn. This is a pretty well scripted opening here. You start with the Force Crush and then the Merciless. I like to take out the Spy in order to get rid of the threat of the big hit. And then I try an ability block. I didn't land the ability block, and Poggle dodged. Another Force Crush here. And then I throw against the Brute, hoping to take him out, but I don't quite get him. So I fracture the Brute here, and then try and get some stuns with Palpatine, but it doesn't land on the Alpha, and he cleanses them. Try and get an ability block, and I finally got the ability block. Now I decide to go after Poggle. They have a shared health pool, and so you want to attack the Geonosian that has the lowest defense. That way you can do the most damage, and it damages all of them. So now they start getting their turns. I start getting a little bit worried here. I really need another Merciless from Vader, hoping they don't take out Thrawn. This time I did get the stun against the Alpha and Poggle, so they're not going to be able to cleanse. I get the Merciless. I throw against the Alpha, take out Poggle, and it's over. But that was much rougher than that counter usually is. Usually I'm able to get a 53 or 54. So a 50 there was very disappointing. Next up is the Nute Gunray squad, and I'm going to take in Kira, Han, and Chewie. I know a lot of people have switched over to the Wedge lead now for Han and Chewie, but my Wedge is not even 7 stars. So there's no chance of that. Kira's my best lead here. We go after Dooku first. He's only gear 10, so he goes down really quickly. And now I'm just going to work on the B1, try and get rid of the B1 as quickly as possible. His AoE is a banner stealer. I do try and stun Nute first, and it doesn't work, but then I go after the B1. Now Nute does get the extortion on Chewie, and we are getting some AoEs from the B1. But I'm able to take him out pretty quickly without losing too much protection. Now I just need to recover that protection, but unfortunately, Nute was really squishy and went down really quickly, and I wasn't able to recover all of my protection. So only a 53 there. Now against the Ventress squad, I'm going to take in my Kylo Ren Unmasked squad. This is Kylo, Fox, and Watt. This is my standard Night Sister counter in 3v3. Put the taunting tech on Kylo Ren, so he takes all the hits. And you put the weapons tech on Executioner. And then when Executioner kills one of the Night Sisters, they can't be revived. Now, I'm going to go after Daka first. I know a lot of people save Daka till the end because she's not much of an offensive threat, but I hate her stuns. You're going to see she keeps my team stunned a lot here. There, she stunned 2 of them. So I go after Daka. I want to get rid of those stuns. There, she's gone. She can't come back. Now I can go after Ventress. But you can see that that stun took those guys out of the battle for quite a while. So at this point, instead of killing Ventress, I decide that I can get 54 banners if I just kill Zombie a few times. That'll give Wat Tambor a chance to get the healing going, and I can get a 54. So I just kill Zombie a few times here. I put the stun on Ventress so she can't do any more damage. And at this point, everybody's all healed up. I switch over to Ventress. And I want to make sure that Executioner is the one who gets the kill here. And now Ventress goes down, and Zombie goes down, and there's a 54. So now to see which ships are in the back. He put his Negotiator and the Home 1. So I switched back over to the character zone, and I went after the Phoenix first with my Wampa. The threat on a Phoenix squad is actually Zeb, because he can stun. Without Zeb there, Wampa just goes crazy. There goes Kanan. I have to kill Ezra twice because of the buff from Hera. But there goes Ezra. And there goes Hera. Easy 56. Next up, I go after the Hux squad, and I take in my Padme. I like this counter because Padme does not rely on turn meter gain for her squad, and so the Hux leadership doesn't really matter. And so Hux's ability to prevent turn meter gain doesn't really matter for a Padme squad. I start with an AoE to get some protection up. Do some more protection up here. And goodbye, Hux. I go after OG Kylo first. I've got the healing immunity from Anakin, and a big hit there from Snips takes him out. I've got healing immunity now on Kylo Ren Unmasked. AoE to get some protection up. Padme is able to clear the stun on Anakin. And this just takes a little while because Kylo Ren Unmasked is so tanky. But with the healing immunity from Anakin's basic, if I can ever land it, that prevents Kylo Ren Unmasked from healing back up. There we go, we've got the healing immunity. He will eventually go down, it isn't really a problem. There we go. 54 banners there. Next up is the Phasma squad, and I wasn't really sure what to take here, so I scrolled through a little bit, seeing what I had left, and I think I eventually decided to go with my Sith Triumvirate, so Traya, Nihilus, and Scion. I wasn't positive how well this would work. I probably had other things there that would have worked better, but I knew this would get the job done. So they were very fast, and I started to get a little concerned. But here I put the Isolate on Executioner so that they could no longer call Executioner to assist. I increased their cooldowns. I put the Pain out there. Now my Scion is only gear 11, so he is a bit squishy. But I got the Held by Hatred, so I wasn't that concerned now. If he went down, he would come back. I continued to work on the Executioner, trying to get rid of him. He's the main damage dealer on the other side. My guys just were not doing a whole lot of damage. Here I just did a basic with Nihilus, and there Scion went down. It's a good thing he had the Held by Hatred. I was deciding if I wanted to isolate someone else, but then I just decided to get rid of Executioner. Now I've got the Annihilate, so I take out Phasma, re-up the Held by Hatred. Put the Isolate on Officer, doesn't really matter at this point, he's the only one left. And there's not really a good way to recover banners with this squad, so I'm not going to get great banners here. Only a 51. And last up we have this terrible Talzin squad. I take in my Bastila with Ezra and Kanan. I like this squad against Talzin because the extra tenacity that Bastila gives prevents the plague from landing. So I call Ezra here, give him the buffs. There you can see the plague doesn't land. And goodbye Talzin. I taunt up with Kanan, call Basti, and she takes care of Spirit. And goodbye Initiate, and that's an easy 54. So now back to the ship zone. And we're going to do a Negotiator mirror match here. And I take in my standard starting lineup, the Y-Wing, Anakin, and Fives. My Rex's ship is only 6 stars, and so I don't put him in the starting lineup yet. Eventually I will switch to that once I've got his ship completely farmed. So there you can see it's only 6 stars. And I decided to take in my full squadron and not mess around. I didn't need all of the reinforcements, but I've lost before because I didn't have enough reinforcements. So better safe than sorry. I take in everybody. Of course, you go after Anakin first. Try and get the buff immunity on Anakin, and it landed, so that's great. I do the AoE here. And now Anakin is vulnerable, and he's gone. That worked perfectly. Now my Anakin's in a bit of trouble, but I'm not too worried about it. He still has the unending or undying loyalty, whatever it's called. There, that just procced. So I bring in Plo Koon to heal up, get rid of all the debuffs, and to push turn meter. I've still got the taunt on the Y-Wing, so that will help protect Anakin. Now Snips just got rid of the taunt, so that's not great. Now my Anakin is vulnerable, so I put the taunt back on the Y-Wing, and I get the buff back. So now everybody's got 2 lives, basically. I switch over to Snips, I go after Snips, and now she's got Retribution, so that's not great. Put the buff immunity on Snips. Now I bring in my own Snips in order to get rid of that Retribution. And try and take her out as quickly as possible. She's the big damage dealer at this point. AoE. Plo Koon comes in and heals them up and puts the taunt on 5s. Luckily, my Snips is able to get rid of that taunt, and I go back after their Ahsoka. Got my ultimate first. That gets rid of Ahsoka. I go after 5s, get rid of him. Plo Koon is next. Goodbye, Plo. And now it's just the Y-Wing. AoE here should end it. And only a 62, but that's okay. Anything over 60, I'm okay with. Against the home one, I took in my Malevolence. This is not a matchup I'm that familiar with. I wasn't sure how many reinforcements I would need. I was scrolling through looking to see what else I might take. I thought about taking in the Sith fighter and then decided against it. And then I had the Houndstooth available. I thought about taking that, but decided I'd rather have those ships available in case I needed a cleanup. Because honestly, having not done this matchup very often, I really didn't know how it was going to go. Turns out that I didn't really need to worry. I put the Buzzies out there on the Y-Wing. And then AoE. And then this had me a little worried. They were able to get that debuff against my bomber, but luckily they weren't doing too much damage. His rebels just aren't very good, and so they weren't doing a lot of damage. I got rid of his Y-Wing. I put Buzz Droids on the other two ships. Call some assists here. And goodbye, Biggs. I brought in my Spy so that I could call in the mass assist here against the Falcon. And bye-bye, Falcon. So a 63 there. My final score was a 26-30, which I was pretty disappointed in. That's a pretty low score. I lost twice to the Darth Revan squad. I really felt that I had left the door open for Gondemar, but I also knew that Gondemar did not save a whole lot for offense. So I thought he might have trouble getting through my defense. So let's take a look at what happened.
All right, so you can see I got the win against Gondemar. Let's see what he did against my defense. No zones cleared. He one-shot Hux and Grievous, but lost to Savage Malik. He didn't try again. In the top zone, he tried once against Jedi Knight Luke and gave up. So the final score is 26-30 to 12-03. Gondemar just put way too much on defense. He did not have enough left on offense to do anything against my defense. I would like to thank Gondemar for the match. He did set a challenging defense. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. I will see you next round.